I want to talk about the fact that abuse doesn't just affect the person that it's happened to. The pain and discomfort hits everyone that's close. Okay, I wanted to make this video because I am constantly experiencing and seeing that abuse doesn't just affect the person that it's happened to. The pain and the discomfort hits everyone that is close to the person that it happened to. Everybody feels it, whether it be wondering whether they could have done something more, wondering if they could have asked a different question that would have led them to find out, questioning themselves about why they didn't see it, why they didn't notice. It often turns into people blaming themselves for what happened as if it was their fault in some way. Feelings of guilt, feelings of regret, feelings of despair. It's pain. It's like a physical pain for people. They go every single day thinking about it. They can't let it go because it's painful. I'm not even just talking about family that were close to that person that the abuse happened to at the time that they were being exploited. I'm talking about friends. I'm talking about teachers. I'm talking about any professional that was working with that child when they were a child, being abused. Everyone is questioning themselves. Everyone is now using hindsight to be like, maybe when they said that, maybe that was a sign. When they behaved like that time, maybe that was a sign. Why didn't I notice? It's hindsight. This is one of the big reasons why we have to stop this from happening, or at least reduce the amount of times that it's going on. I'm currently in the middle of putting together a proposal to try to get this subject into schools. And one of my ideas is to not specifically or only talk about sexual abuse. I feel like there'll be some resistance from these organisations if I bring only that subject to the table. It's a sensitive and difficult subject. So I feel like that's not going to increase my chances of success of getting into schools. So I'm actually working on a presentation that talks about abuse in its more general form, covering physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, neglect, abuse online, abuse in the home, abuse in clubs, sports clubs, and any other type of places that the youngsters are. It's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. It comes in so many forms. Abuse in relationships, abuse within the family, abuse within friendships. And all of this, once these situations have occurred, once they've happened, of course we know it's affecting the person that it happened to for the rest of their lives. It's affecting the person that it happened to on various levels, some harder than others, depending on that person. Different people deal with the abuse in different ways. But the thing that it is definitely doing all the time is hitting the parents of that person, the close family members of that person, the friends of that person, and anyone that's associated with that person. When they find out that that happened, maybe they find out at the time it's happening, or maybe they find out years after, the pain and the discomfort hits everyone that's close. And this subject just doesn't get the priority that it requires. I'm going through the documentation set by the Department for Education, which is, I don't know, the governing body here in the UK, in England, driving what's being taught in schools. I'm reading through that document at the moment. I'm rereading that document at the moment to understand it the best that I can. What they've written is fantastic, really. It's covering all areas. It's teaching the children the risks that they face in today's world on all levels. It's teaching the children how to handle themselves and conduct themselves in a manner that is not hurting other people. It's a good document. How much of that is being taught in the schools? How frequently is that being taught in the schools? Anywhere near the other subjects? Is the frequency that these topics covering how to handle yourself in this world, is that being taught in the frequency of the other subjects? Not a chance. Have we got anything helping adults who have found out that a child close to them has been abused, how to even handle that life situation? Is there anything out there helping those adults? Because this is the type of pain and discomfort that an adult will feel every single day until the day they die. Nobody's getting over that. No mother, no father who has found out that their child was being abused will ever get over that. They carry that pain on their back everywhere that they go. Is there any material out there to relieve them of some level? Because when you're an adult, you're not in school anymore. How are you supposed to get help with that? How are we going to stop this from happening so frequently? You know, we haven't got to talk about sexual abuse all the time, you know, because I think so many people think that that would just never happen within their family. We can talk about things like online abuse, children constantly going through being mistreated online. And I'm not talking about adults on children. I'm talking about children on children. You remember how vicious the playground could be. You remember how vicious gossip could be back in the day at school. Now imagine that online, where people can be braver because they're behind a screen. Imagine the gossip and the viciousness must have magnitude dramatically compared to back in the day before everybody had a phone. Children are being abused online by other children. Where's the advert on TV about this? Where's the news article on this? Where's the news report on this? Nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. Where are the celebrities and the people that young people look up to talking about this? I think that's happening more, you know. I feel like artists, the power of this world, the artists, are talking about it more and more in their songs and in the way that they express themselves. Because how are we going to encourage and influence the children, the young people? It's not through the classroom, that's for sure. There's no way you can influence the majority of children through classroom environment. It's boring. How rare is it to come across a child that's like, I love school, can't wait for Monday? No children are saying that. No children. Hardly any children are saying that. Whenever you mention school to children, they think it's boring. Because the classroom environment is boring. We have to do better in helping these children avoid the risk of abuse, which helps stop the pain and discomfort that everybody is feeling that is involved with the case of abuse when they find out that that child has been mistreated in this way. I hate it. I hate it. I hate that it's happening so much. It's happening so much. There's hardly any priority being put on it. Hardly any. I just need the content that I'm creating to get big enough that I can get recognised by these organisations and get this work into the schools and colleges. Number one, I just need my content. I just need one bit of content to go viral so that I can start getting recognised by these major media outlets and get this work in front of the adults, to get on podcasts and get this work in front of the adults. I'm patiently waiting. I'm trying very, very hard. I'm working very, very hard. Sometimes this project doesn't leave my mind. It's like there's no time to waste. We need this now. This is not something that was only happening in the 80s or the 90s. Some might say that it's actually growing in magnitude as the years go on. It's not like we're getting on top of this. It's not like, we're making moves with this. It's like abuse in general is a pandemic that's continuously getting out of control. Okay. Let's leave it at that. Maybe sometimes when I pick out these titles for these videos, some of them are always going to make me feel like this. And once I'm going about my day and I'm thinking that will be a good title for a video, I know already that when I start speaking about it, it's going to make me feel like this. But avoiding it for that reason is not the correct thing to do, because that's not going to get us anywhere. Thank you.